you through using a quick mask to make more complex selections using grayscale in combination with the mask itself, and then doing manipulations using the mask selection. So first we'll just kind of demonstrate the general how-to of how the mask works. So if I click the quick mask button over here on the lower end of the tool palette, and then I select the gradient tool, and up here you can see the gradient is set black to white, and it's a horizontal scale. And I'm just going to click and drag, and so you can see where it's black, it's pure red, and where it's white, it's clear. So black, 100% black is 100% masked, and 100% white is 0% masked. And so if I actually turn the mask off now, I can see the selection here. So this side, the left side was masked, and the right side is selected. You can see the bounding box is sort of selected over on the right-hand side. And if I hit delete, you can see this is 100% deleted on the right, and it slowly goes to like 80% deleted here, or sorry, 40% deleted here, 30, 20, 10. So you can see how that works. So now obviously, this, if we set to a radial percentage, we'll deselect, Command D, turn the mask on again, and we'll go from the center out. And then again, we'll turn the selection off. And so you can see this inside is masked where the black is, and the outside is unmasked. We'll select that, and so again, you see you get sort of a range selection. I think one of the reasons the selection is so aggressive is because it's pin light. So we'll turn it to darken instead in terms of the way it draws the mask. So try it one more time. This time I'm going to draw a series. And so one of the reasons to set it to darken is if it's just set at normal, then the white on the other end of the gradient will overwrite, so you can't build it up. So you just get one gradient every time. So just set this to darken, that way it only puts a mark down where the values are darker than the values it's writing over on the mask. So now I can build this up a little bit. And so once I have something that I think is interesting, so I have an interesting pattern, and so now you can see everything on the outside is selected and on the inside is masked. So if I want to change that, I go to select, inverse, and that reverses the selection. So now only the objects that were dark red are now selected. And now I can do a delete. Not very interesting, but I could start to use some of the filters to get some more interesting sort of responses. So I can go to filter, say blur, do like a Gaussian blur. Right, so I start to get some interesting sort of more aggressive blur inside, and you can see as the percentage fades, the aggressiveness of the blur, the impact of the blur fades. So I'll deselect that to see what it looks like. So that's a bit interesting. I'm just going to go back to the selection on the history palette. I'm going to go to filter, blur gallery, and I'm going to use path blur. Now I can draw a path, so this kind of sends the blur in kind of a directional arc. So you start to get movement. And so I like this. I'm going to hit OK. And then deselect. Yeah, and so now I have a kind of an interesting manipulated surface, I can also go to here again, go to filter, go to distort, and then maybe go to displace. No. Go to filter, distort, pinch. And so we can sort of manipulate the surface topography and get some quite dynamic sort of type behaviors. And you can see where the mask wasn't sitting, the type stayed relatively unchanged, but it was much more aggressively changed where the selections were in place. So there you go.